I never thought that I would experience something like this in this lifetime.
To be honest, when it first started, I didn't really take it seriously.
It feels like, to be honest, a kind of a bad screenplay in the movie.
We were laughing at it a little bit, or just saying, oh, we're fine, or, this isn't, people are overreacting, it's the flu sort of thing.
Initially, we thought that this was just a virus that will eventually go away.
I blame myself for not being and checking the news more, I guess, but it just seems like it was sudden to everybody.
The smart people started taking it seriously. Now, I think, given next week, the dumb people are going to start taking it seriously.
We were all a bit, oh yeah, coronavirus is spreading, but it's just not going to affect us in our everyday life. And oh my God, we were wrong.
I'm self-isolating because I'm in one of the risky groups. I'm asthmatic.
Personally, I'm 27 years old, so I'm not that afraid that much. But I'm afraid, for my parents. So because my dad is 62, my mom is a smoker,
and 57,
and she's 57 exactly. So it's.
So I stayed for 5 days in coronavirus ward. I'm self-quarantined for 7 days, and then I go back again after the quarantine to add to the workforce. So the other people will be quarantined just to get some rest as well, and then go back again. So it's a cycle.
This is a dictatorial government we have here. They have been very, very strict, draconian measures. They were confiscating cars of people who were out there with no legitimate reason to be out.
We've been advised to practice social distancing 1 meter apart in restaurants and things like that. And that's been really hard right now because I practice it, but everybody around me thinks I'm nuts.
It's been silent, or people are hardly going in and out. It's very obvious when someone goes to the door. I'm like, oh, someone's exited the building.
It is now the socially responsible thing to stay in.
Every time you leave the house, you have to have a permit, a form that you need to fill out, so that if the police stops you, you have a reason to be out of the house. And if you don't have that, you can be fined and even prosecuted. It's very wartime-like.
If it gets bad in Lagos, it's going to be very tough to deal with because, there's a lot of poor people in Lagos and there's a lot of poor hygiene with the people who don't really have a lot of money. So they're trying to make sure that it doesn't get to those guys.
A lot of people are getting laid off already, which is scary because it's only been a couple of weeks.
We just opened about
7 months ago.
7 months ago, yeah. So here we are again, waiting, hoping that we can reopen.
There was this video release that I saw a couple of days ago. There's this guy, he's selling vegetables. He has a kiosk on the street and he's selling vegetables. And then the police came to remove him because of, the lockdown and everything that goes along with. And he has a meltdown in the middle of the street, going crazy and yelling. He went hysterical, and it was really very sad to see this because he was saying, how am I going to feed my kids?
I work with a lot of artists where they make their money from performing and all the shows got canceled. So definitely there's a financial hit for me and my artists based on that alone.
I'm in the fine art world, so it's really really depressing seeing how museums are being affected, even collectors holding on to their finances and not investing in the company.
I had to shut down my office because I own a company, it's an entertainment company called The Plug. And yesterday I had to tell all my staff not to come to work for the next 2 weeks.
I had an exhibit that was canceled. So I no longer have a project.
We weren't rich, we put a lot of money, went into a lot of debt to just try to get this going, And
a lot of the expenses, you're just paying rent on a space that you can't do anything.
And they're being kind of cool, they're allowing you to do alcohol to go, but that's gonna cost us more money. I don't know if it's morally right to do.
Is it morally right to pay a worker minimum wage and put themselves at a health risk?
Yeah.
So we
opted
to say no.
We just had an address by the Prime Minister, so he's asked everyone now to stay at home.
Whenever there's numbers that are spiking or areas around me where someone infected has been found, I get a government message, a text message to my phone, an emergency alert that tells me how old they were, exactly what neighborhood they were, where they were when they were diagnosed, and they give me a link to a government website where I can see exactly where they have been, their whole route. And then when I go to Seoul to work, then I get notices from people that have been in that area. So I think the government's been pretty good with being transparent from the get-go and taking care of things like price inflation for masks or price gouging that citizens did in the beginning. They curbed that really quickly, and I think we've been pretty transparent with it, so I feel pretty safe.
What I'm seeing now in terms of like where we stand in the UK, and it's similar in the US, is that the problem is that both countries were utterly unprepared. They've lost track of patient 0, let alone, patient 1,000. So they don't know where the initial spread happened.
At first, the thing was, if you're getting sick and you have this and this and this symptoms, like call the public health service and get tested. Like 2 days later, it was like, we don't have enough tests for everyone, so just don't call unless you're having like very grave respiratory issues or things like that.
So the punitive measures which have been taken to ensure you do not breach the various quarantine orders, for example, the stay-at-home notice. If you are served with one of these notices by the officer, you have to stay at home literally for 14 days, and they will somehow monitor you, whether it's through the phone or they ask you to take a picture of your surroundings or whatever. They have ways. So it's quite good actually that they control this. And people who break the orders, the quarantine orders, are dealt with severely. For example, if you're a permanent resident of Singapore and you breach the order, you might not be allowed to, your permanent residency might be revoked, things like that.
We do not know, because of this authoritarian government, what is going on out there, because they don't tell us anything. It's hard to know how many cases are in the country, how many deaths are in from the virus.
One interesting thing that I've seen in a lot of neighborhoods, not just here in the Bay Area, people using their little free libraries. We have one right outside, and thinking of converting it into little free pantries. So if you're old, you don't want to risk going to the supermarket, you don't want to risk catching it. We do have a lot of older people in our neighborhood. Just stop by the pantry.
I joined a WhatsApp group here in my neighborhood of volunteers to bring groceries and stuff to the older folks here, and it's already showing me that it will sort of have to be a community effort.
We healthcare workers are well taken care of by the common people. Like, we're given food, medicine, and transportation. They did something about that. People should help each other here to survive.
At 8 o'clock, like, everyone started cheering. We were like sitting in our apartment and we're like, what's clapping? Like, why is everyone cheering? And it's every night at 8 o'clock, people are clapping for all the medical and healthcare workers who are helping fight the coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do a live stream for my artist Fat Tony, who's doing a concert where there's no audience. And it's in the benefit of the food bank in Houston. He's a Houston rapper. So a lot of the kids who, they need food with the school shut down, that's kind of like how they eat.
I see a lot of stories and I hear a lot of stories about how people are making anonymous donations of masks and cash to police departments and asking them to give them to people in need.
Our bar, as well as pretty much every other bar in our neighborhood, have made GoFundMe pages for the bartenders to send them virtual tips, essentially, because there's a huge unemployed workforce now that you can't just go and bartend anywhere else.
Right.
And unemployment's only going to cover so much. So we've seen a lot of support.
Corona's not saying you're black, you're white, you're Chinese, you're Hispanic. it's affecting everybody. So the world needs to become a better place, and we all need to realize that if something is going to kill us, it's going to kill the whole world.